Hi everyone, so we just had another hotfix go live earlier this night. I just woke up to see this. I have not actually gone in and tested this myself, but I have been reading through some of the points and discussions that people have made, so I can give you a bit of an idea of what is going on. So a lot of people have been complaining about rawhide and iron chunks drops. They have been kind of too low in general. People keep running out of these, especially while trying to masterwork their gear to perfection. They require a lot of this stuff. And we already had a patch last Thursday that was supposed to introduce some extra ways of getting more of these materials and just buff the drop rates across the board. That didn't really happen. I think they increased the salvage a little bit that you get from like blue items and these kind of things, but it was not really crazy noticeable. So we got another patch. And now we have, well, acquisition rates are increased. So what does that mean? So it seems like this was mostly a buff to Nightmare Dungeon auto salvage. So in typical Nightmare Dungeons, you get somewhere like 100 to 200 a run of both these materials because of blue items or yellow items dropping, and then they get auto salvaged into materials. So apparently this has been increased, and there's more that you get there now. By roughly 50% or so. So it should be noticeable if you keep running Nightmare Dungeons a lot. People have been somewhat neglecting Nightmare Dungeons this season, is my impression. I have been farming a lot of Nightmare Dungeons, and I generally didn't really have many issues because you just kind of have this passive income of this auto salvaged blue items. So that's kind of nice. It just makes Nightmare Dungeons a bit more desirable, which I think is good, which was probably a bit on the weaker side in terms of content to farm. And then there's also boss rotations. This was already the best possible like farming strategy. If you do Torment 4 boss rotas, I'm not sure how it is on lower Torments, but at least on Torment 4, you get a few dozen or so per kill most of the time. So depending on the boss, they have like a bunch of iron chunks and herbs and rawhide dropping every time you kill one. And then the usual way to do this is you find a party, everyone brings their materials, and then you kill each boss 5 times. You go to town, you sell, you come back, and so on. So the way that I usually prioritize doing this is that I sell the normal uniques that you get from these items to the vendor for gold. May not be such a big issue on softcore when you can trade without a lot of gold, but on hardcore, for example, this is like my primary income for gold. So I sell the normal uniques and I salvage the ancestral uniques because they salvage into 30 of each of material. So it's actually pretty good. Typically in like 2 minutes or so, killing the boss 5 times and then doing exactly what I just said, I get something like 200-300 of each of those materials. But either way, those drop rates have been also buffed. And now the bosses drop seems like something like double or so raw materials. You don't get more from the salvage, but each boss is something like apparently around 100 or so of each in the materials. So that seems actually quite effective. However, it makes like the best, like by far the best farming strategy already much better. So it's not really such a huge gain that we got here, unfortunately. Yesterday, someone also linked this Reddit thread to me, the breakdown of materials acquired per minute per activity. People are that desperate for their rawhide and iron chunks. And that was actually a pretty good overview made here by Silver Knight 05 on Reddit a few days ago. And you can also see this, for example, that the bosses were just by far the best here. So here, for example, Duriel, you get like, 100 chunks in 4 kills, basically 130 in 4 kills and so on. And then you also get the salvage from it, basically. So overall, you just get a lot of stuff from bosses, and this has been, seems like, the most buffed as well. So this means boss rotations are king. They're already extremely valuable just for the gold you get from vendoring stuff, for the salvage that you got, and now you get more of that. And in general, you can also find items that you can trade for other people and trade to other people and just get even more value out of them. So in general, boss rotations is kind of a thing. I'm not sure if that's really such a good path to take here for Blizzard, but this is what you got. Boss rotations are very dominant right now, and I don't really like that because at some point you have your mythics, at some point you have your uniques, and then I don't really want to do more bosses. Like there's only so many bosses I can kill in a season before I want to uninstall. So I'm not sure if that was really the right move here, but for now, at least it will be a band-aid until maybe something else happens as well. There's also this patch note here, increased material gains from Seething Opal rewards. So I have not tested that yet, but I'll try this later today. I guess maybe the Seething Opals that give you materials might be really good now, especially if you run Nightmare Dungeons or Whisperers or something like that, where you actually have loot dropping. then you can just pop these. But the thing is that most of the content that we do these days does not actually drop any loot, and most of the time you will not get these Seething Opal rewards very reliably. So if you found the pit, hordes, or Kuras in the city, there is no loot dropping for any monsters, and the opals will kind of like wait until you kill the boss, for example, and then drop something. But I think it's generally way less than what you, for example, get in just any other content where monsters regularly drop loot. We'll see, maybe this could be also a really good option here. And lastly, we had a bug fix, so I'm not sure if they're also going to take some account action, because there was a pretty major XP exploit. So what you could do is you could open a pit run, and then other people in your party could just complete sellers over and over, and they would get the pit completion reward XP every single time. So if someone has 150 unlocked, you just open 150, and then people spam chain sellers in like, 10 seconds or something, and basically get like 10 million XP like every few seconds or so on. They kind of boost their way through levels. So that was a pretty major exploit, and that has been fixed now. So in case you had any plans there, which I would not have suggested, but we have not really had any word on like bans or something. Maybe something is coming. So I would just be kind of like mindful of that. In any case, that's it for this video here. I just wanted to give you a quick update. So my impression is, yeah, this seems very useful, but a lot of people have already done a lot of their boss rotations. And personally, like, I don't really want to go back to do real hell, to be honest, at least for this season, but at least it will help like people like me, like in the future seasons. But if you have your boss mats stockpiled, then go in, do your bosses, and otherwise, let's see if the opals are actually good. Hope you enjoyed this little video. Good luck with the rest of the season, and see you guys next time.